write a fictional script about this bandaged man figure, and you can find that on our website.
Oh yeah, definitely, and as well as the Biggie Got Foot musical music video, which I think is one of the best in the world. So if you ever want to see a Bigfoot music video that's done really well, that's on the website as well. So you're also a songwriter.
I part-time, yeah. I try my best. I think I do better at parody than original. I'm way more Weird Al Yankovic than Paul McCartney, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course, other people might say Paul McCartney isn't really like Paul McCartney either, so I know what you mean.
Well, not since 1967, right? Yeah,
yeah, or 66, whatever that was.
Or whatever that happened, yeah.
Oh, man. Well, listen, Vince.
Yeah, we've had...
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, we have so much more things that happened this year, too, that I'd like to share, if that's cool.
Oh, that's what I was hoping you would. Yeah, go right ahead.
Awesome. So one of the most interesting things that happened to us this year, we went to the McMenamin UFO Festival in McMinnville, Oregon, where I think that's the last time I saw you in person.
Yeah.
And Peter. And that's a thing that we love going to every year. It's just a magical place, a magical event, and the best people in the world show up to this thing.
Oh,
so prior to this,
it's a family-oriented event too. People don't really understand that. They've got dog parades. You dress your dog up like an alien. They've got kids in the streets having little parades themselves. It's a lot of fun in McMinnville. It's in a college town, right down there in kind of northern part of Oregon. So we'd like to make sure everybody got there. So next year, I'm looking forward to that too, in the UFOI team.
Yeah, no, it's one of the best things that I look forward to every single year. But what's interesting about this year, in our experience there, is that 2 weeks or so prior to the event, I received an email from a man named Dan Myrick. He is the writer and director of the original Blair Witch Project.
Oh.
Remember that movie?
Oh, do I? What a classic, huh?
Yeah. Beautiful movie, like changed the world, changed cinema. And Dan contacted me because he is making a new found footage kind of horror movie based upon UFO experiences. And he asked myself and my Pacific North Weird co-host, Alexander Sullivan, to appear in the movie as ourselves. So we got to film a scene with the writer and director of the Blair Witch Project right out there in the UFO Festival as our Pacific North Weird selves, interviewing the character that he's directing named Carl Meriwether.
Yeah.
And, if things turn out well, we're going to wind up in this guy's movie next year.
Oh, and I remember watching you guys film down there at McMinnville when I was down there as well with you guys. That is going to be it's like you are the Scully and Mulder of Pacific North weird stuff. And they were really, I think, probably lucky to snag you for this film.
Oh, and I feel the same way. I feel really fortunate and lucky and just gracious that he would reach out to us. And he's a great guy, really, really cool, very, very affable and easy to work with. He even kind of let us do some improv during the filming sequence. So hopefully some of my off-the-cuff humor will wind up in this film. Yeah.
Do you have a working title or anything that people could check about on the internet?
Yes, the movie is going to be called Skyman.
Okay.
And It is about a man named Carl Meriwether, who, in modern times, is a middle-aged man. But as a child in the 70s, he experienced this extraterrestrial encounter in the desert by this being that he called the Skyman, as he came from the sky. And the character, now as a middle-aged man, is traveling the country to various UFO festivals in hopes to reestablish contact with this pivotal alien being from his childhood.
Oh, wow. Oh, it almost sounds like the Invaders or something like that. That old show on television. Interesting. Well, I will definitely be looking for that. The Skyman. I'm sure we could probably find some kind of a promo or something on YouTube on that as well.
Yes, he has a website with various promos, and he has a really great Facebook page for Skyman that I recommend everyone go to and like, and you'll get all the updates you need. And as far as I know, he is in the midst of doing the final edit for this.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, well, keep us up to date on that as we go through the weeks here in the new year. That'll be fun to watch, and hopefully they'll have a premiere, a red carpet that we can watch you at as well.
Oh, absolutely! It's going to be a blast. I'm going to make sure everyone knows what's happening with it.
Good, good. Hey, well, I think what we'll do, you and I, is go to the top of the hour here, about 10 more minutes if we can. And if you've got some more retrospective you want to tell us about, let's get into some of those.
Yeah, absolutely. This year also was a big road trip year for Pacific North Weird. We ended up hitting two of the major paranormal spots in the country. One being Willow Creek, California, which is in the vicinity where Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin in 1967 filmed the very famous Bigfoot film sequence that we're all familiar with. And I took a road trip down there with our Bigfoot expert, Tyler Bounds, and we ended up actually trekking a couple of hours into the dense forest of Bluff Creek, California, and found the exact spot where that infamous footage took place.
And I understand that was no easy task to do because of all the foliage that's grown up over the decades down there since the sighting report. But you guys actually found the right place, right?
Yeah, and it was certainly very treacherous, very unmanned. We had to drive 45 minutes up like this very primitive road full of boulders and various hazards just to get to the parking spot. And then from there we had to hike another hour through some unmanned trails through the wilderness. We were surrounded by bear poop. I saw my very first bear in the wild. It was amazing. But finally getting there and standing in the spot where that infamous footage took place was one of the most euphoric, proud moments of my life. It was an accomplishment, and I'm so happy I did it. And we filmed a whole lot on that trip, and that will be winding up in this episode that will be released in the next month or so.
Yes, and I did see your video proof of you being there in that one spot. That was just kind of cool to see you stand and then try to piece in my mind where the Patty the Sasquatch was walking, through that area. I understand there was quite a few flash floods in that area anyway, so a lot of the topography probably even changed since that it really happened. But it's fascinating in the fact that you guys tracked it down.
Yeah, to the untrained eye, I'm talking about my eye in particular, it does not look like the same spot at all. But luckily, we were the guests of a group called the Bluff Creek Project, and they have been spending the past couple of years doing photo and film forensics to pinpoint the exact spot and make sure that it was the exact spot where this event happened. They're looking at trees, stumps, rocks, all kinds of various geographic landmarks, adding 50 plus years to them, and to really be certain and sure that they found the real place where it happened. And it's been confirmed by Bob Gimlin himself. It's been agreed upon by Cliff Barrickman and James Bobo Fay from Finding Bigfoot, various other high-minded, intelligent luminaries of the Sasquatch community. They all agree.
Oh, that's
4 out of
wonderful.
5 doctors agree, So.
Yeah, there you go. And by the way, when you had that epiphany moment standing there where Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin were on their horses at that point, looking at this massive Bigfoot walking across the dry riverbed there, did you get the impression that this was definitely a spot where Sasquatch could be or were? It's some kind of a habitat area.
I absolutely got that impression, and I got that impression from my entire stay in that whole area. Like Willow Creek, it's a town, but it's a town in the forest. Like you're at one of the only 2 bars there, and you're out in the patio smoking, having a beer, and you are literally right by the forest. It's not just trees,
Yeah.
This entire region is unclaimed, unmanned, uncharted, and I could completely believe and buy into the idea that a 8-foot tall, undiscovered intelligent hominoid could exist in this area. Like it's vast, it's insane. There are moments where we are on a logging road, high above the tops of trees, and you step out of your car and you look out and you just see just endless wilderness. And it's probably one of the most peaceful feelings I've ever experienced. The entire world around you disappears. You forget about social media. You forget about all the tomfoolery going on in the political world. You forget about the fear in modern society. And you just kind of let yourself get back to where man is meant to be. That was great.
Oh, great description there, Vince. That was wonderful. Yeah, we have to. Matter of fact, those kinds of things are on the Pacific North Weird website and YouTube pages. You got to check all this stuff out. Give yourself a real well-rounded education in the paranormal by checking in with Vince every once in a while. Now we got we got about 5 minutes left here, Vince. Is there any other wrap-up issues you want to talk about before we head towards our new year coming down the road?
Well, sure. We also visited Roswell, New Mexico for our first time this year.
Oh, yeah.
And that is part of a huge video project that we are working on about the summer of 1947, the summer of the saucers, starting with Kenneth Arnold, including the Maury Island incident, the July 4th Portland saucer sighting. We're basically talking about the Pacific Northwest's place within the summer of the saucers prior to Roswell. And a big part of the story, of course, has to do with the Maury Island incident and Steve Edmiston and Scott Schaefer, who run the Maury Island Incident Historical Society. And every year they do this thing called Burning Saucer, where outside of Puget Sound in Des Moines, Washington, overlooking Vashon and Maury Island, they do this tongue-in-cheek, kind of fun ritual burning of a flying saucer to commemorate the Maury Island incident. And one of the fun things that they've always included in their program, in their performance, is this good-natured rivalry with Roswell, New Mexico. So, as you know, Roswell gets all the credit. Like Roswell is like what people think of when they think of like UFOs in the 40s. But, a lot of people don't realize is that the Northwest had 3 major sightings and events happen before Roswell. So there's this rivalry going on. And as a kind of a fun thing, we decided to travel to Roswell, New Mexico to start a good-natured turf war between the Northwest and the Southwest. Kind of like Biggie and Tupac, And
yeah,
we
you guys
basically went down there.
You brought out your protest signs and the whole thing and went to Roswell. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. We made protest signs. We left letters of protest on the door of the city hall in Roswell. All kinds of fun stuff. And that was just an amazing trip. I do have to give a shout out to one of our benefactors for this, Jeremy Rule, of the Great Northwest band Tinkham Road.